Welcome back to my channel. Have you been working out your glutes 3 times a week? Are you doing Stairmaster and you're still not seeing the results that you want? Me, am I projecting? If you've been on social media lately, you've probably heard the term glute activation. So I was like, what the heck is glute activation? Like, what is it? So in this video, we're gonna talk about what it is and how to do it. So for today's glute activation lesson, basically, when I did the research for this, I was like, okay, so it's like glorified stretching, which in a sense it is, but what I didn't know is that basically because we are most of the time sitting down for our jobs or when we're just at home watching TV, eating, our glutes basically turn off. You know, conserve energy, our bodies are smart. Whereas like our abs are constantly being engaged for our posture, when we're reaching for stuff, grabbing something, it's constantly engaged throughout our day. Whereas our glutes can turn off because we're just sitting on them. So for glute activation, it's a series of exercise movements that you do before you start your lifting session with the hopes that by the end of doing this activation exercises, that your glutes will be turned on, fired, and ready to go for your lifting session. Most of the time, people, they might stretch a little bit, but when they go into the gym, they're gonna jump into their lifting session. So maybe you're doing 6 exercises for your leg day, but maybe your glutes aren't being activated till exercise 3. So you're really losing out on maximizing those workouts and getting those booty gains, which as a bikini competitor, my girls know that you need a booty. It's a big component of competing. So I have been trying doing glute activation exercises before all my leg days, and I have seen some improvement in the more of like the rounding of my glutes. So I hope it's working. Right? So for these glute activation exercises, all you're gonna need is some simple stretching bands. Oh, this is the hard and the medium. Maybe get like a easy or a light. But we're gonna head into the gym. I'm gonna show you a few of the exercises that I do and kind of my rep cycle that I go through. So let's head out. Again, you're just gonna need a simple resistance band for all these exercises. So for this, I am doing a high rep, so I do about 20 on each leg for 2 rounds, and then I'll move on to the next one. So it does take me about 10-15 minutes before I actually go in and start my workout, but it's definitely worth it. And while I show you some of the ones that I do, I want to talk a little bit more about glute activation. So I went to physical therapy for some hip issues, ended up finding out that one leg is longer than the other, so when I squat, my hips will sway because the longer leg is compensating for the shorter leg. And we did a lot of things, and what worked the best for me was a technique called dry needling. And this is where they take these little needles and they poke it into the muscle, hook it up to electricity, and it pulsates, and it basically turns on the muscle. I would then tell the therapist, say, hey, this one's starting to hurt, and they would turn it off. And for a few days after I did my dry needling sessions, I would feel great. And but it would wear off and I would have to go back, and well, unfortunately my insurance wasn't going to keep paying for my dry needling sessions. So it's the same concept though, of these exercises versus dry needling, and you have to turn on your glutes. So again, this isn't like a crazy heavy part of your workout. You are going to feel it because it's a burn almost, but you're not going to go crazy, and I wouldn't even suggest using like a super hard or medium band. I would just get a nice light band and really just wake those muscles up, and when it starts to burn, you know that they're ready. So I have again seen some pretty good success with it. I've only been doing it for a few months and I'm still integrating it into my leg day routines, but it's definitely something that I think can help a lot of people, especially if you're trying to look to grow and shape your glutes, which I know a lot of women are. Again, I do pretty high reps on these, and you know, there is no set amount. Once you start feeling the burn and the fire, you're pretty much ready to go. So I appreciate all the support. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all next week.